Hello, good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now with me, Vinny Motiwala, along with me, Cheryl D'Souza as well. Cheryl, a very good afternoon to you as well. Whole host of earnings that are pouring in, but markets at least in a better mood today, right?
I don't know whether we can say that.
Still?
Yeah, still, Vinny, given the fact that yes, we did see a very strong recovery from the day's lowest point, then we again dipped in the negative territory. Now we are trading flat with a positive bias with a 3% uptick when it comes to the Nifty. Let's take a look at what Nifty Bank is doing, because that's where the pain was a little sharper when compared to the benchmark indices. And there you go, Nifty Bank has actually erased all of its morning gains and now trading lower by about 0.5% or so. Take a look at the likes of Axis Bank, ICICI Bank. They are the ones that actually have given up most of their morning gains. But on the flip side is the metal index and the metal counters that have actually recovered from the day's lowest point, given the fact that China has said that they will go ahead and cut their triple R by about 0.5 percentage points, and that's the reason why you can see the metal index now recovering in trade, be it Vedanta, Tata Steel, JSW Steel, all of them have recovered in trade, and metal index is now trading higher by about 2% or so. So that's the way how the markets are looking like. Yes, cannot really say we're completely out of the woods, Vinny.
Absolutely, yes. Holding on to that, and we'll be waiting out and seeing where the market and what direction does the market pick up in the next half. But let's get started with all those individual movers and trade on the back of news flows and technicals. And from the research team today, we are joined by Shesha, and short from now we'll be joined by Nirav Chheda as well. But let me start then, with the first stock that we will be talking about today, and that is going to be Puravankara. Puravankara is in focus today. Why? Because we've seen them report their Q3 numbers. What a strong up move that we've seen coming in the stock as well. As of now, also holding on to strong gains of almost 8% as of now as well. Looking at the numbers now, our revenue seeing a growth of almost 46% on a year-on-year basis, 574 crores. A sharp jump up in the profits. Last time the profits were just at around 22 crores. This time around it's 77 crores. So more than almost 3x, 4x type of a growth in terms of profits. Margins seeing a 640 basis point improvement as well. EBITDA margins at 34.7 versus 38.3% as well. So good set of numbers that was reported by Puravankara this time, and that is why the stock is holding on to good gains as well.
Alright, that is Puravankara for you. That is actually in focus in today's trading session. But let's talk about Grow Capital, and that particular counter has actually seen a sharp up move in today's trading session. At one point in time, last time I checked, the stock was trading higher by 7.8%. That is at the open, which was the biggest intraday gain since October 11th. But now the stock has given up some of the gains, still trading with gains of about 2.9%. The company's profit actually more than doubled to around 32.5 crore rupees in the quarter gone by, while their total income also saw an uptick about 47% on a year-on-year basis. So on back of healthy set of numbers coming in the quarter gone by, you can see Grow Capital holding us to still good gains, about 2.9%.
Okay. Surely keeping an eye out on Grow Capital, but keeping it going with earnings then. And Shesha, Pidilite is the next stock that you've picked out for us in terms of numbers. Seems like a good number coming in from them.
Well, yes, and the stock is reacting positively, 2.5% higher in trade as we speak. Revenues and other numbers were largely in line with what the street was working with. Revenues have come in at about 3,130 odd crores, up about 4.5% on a year-on-year basis. Revenue growth was aided by underlying volume growth that the company reported in the quarter gone by of about 10.4 odd percent. Both consumer and bazaar businesses reported strong growth in the quarter gone by, and B2B segment also aided volume growth of about 10.4% that the company reported. Margins meanwhile have expanded significantly on a year-on-year basis. Margins have come in at 23.7% versus 16.5% that the company had reported same time last year. Export demand, the management says, also continues to remain very strong. As far as the outlook is concerned, management says that they remain optimistic about the market demand in the near term, and increased government and construction spending also augurs well for the company. All in all, good set of numbers. The stock is also reacting positively, slightly off the day's highest point, but despite that, 2.5% higher in trade as we speak.
Okay, let's move on to stock number 4 for today, and that is Netweb Technologies. This one too is in focus on the back of its numbers. Looking at it on a quarter-on-quarter basis, good numbers that have come in and been reported by the company. Look at it, the stock is locked in upper circuit, 5% uptick there. Revenues, 75% growth in terms of overall the EBIT margins. That's remained almost slight bit of an improvement there, 50 basis point improvement in terms of the EBIT margins of the company, 12.8% versus 12.3% last quarter, while in terms of overall the profitability of the company on a sequential basis has seen a strong improvement as well of 72 to 73%. So yes, all in all, operating performance has been good. The top line, bottom line, that has been quite strong in terms of a healthy growth on that front as well, and that is why the stock is locked in upper circuit.
All right, moving on, let's talk about Rama Steel Tubes. That particular counter is in focus in today's trading session. They have actually gone ahead and issued or approved the issue of bonus share in the ratio of about 2:1. They've also decided to rescind their proposal for the scheme of arrangement for the amalgamation of Lipakshi tubes with the company. But the majority of the moves coming in for that particular counter on the back of the fact that it has issued the bonus issue in the ratio of about 2:1.
Okay, and let's move on, and as we count down to the union budget this year, Rumki Majumdar, director at Deloitte, shares what she expects from the budget this year. Listen in.
This being an election year, we believe there won't be any major announcements in the interim budget. Instead, we believe the government will focus on 3 issues. First objective would be to try to keep the fiscal deficit on target and continue with the momentum of spending on infrastructure and assets. There is excitement among global investors and manufacturers to invest in India, and the objective will be to improve such capital flows to create opportunities. Adhering to fiscal discipline will send a strong signal that the authorities are serious about keeping their house in order and give investors the confidence to invest in India. Secondly, the budget would mostly focus on navigating the global uncertainties. Not only does the global economy seem primed for a slower 2024, but the year is also perhaps the election year for the world, as at least 64 countries, representing a combined population of 49% in the world, will head to the polls this year. Finally, keeping inflation under control will be a key agenda in the union budget. Ensuring that high food prices are not translated into broad-based inflation is something that will be prioritized. We believe that the government may focus spending on key social sectors such as education and healthcare, which are essential for building human capital and the workforce of the future.
Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET Now, a show where we get you all the stocks buzzing in trade. Let's take a look at the numbers flashing on the bottom of your screen. You have 2 numbers. One is Indian Bank, which has just come out with the numbers. If you look at the asset quality, it has better when you compare it to on a quarter-on-quarter basis. The PAT has seen a substantial uptick on a year-on-year basis, as well as the NII growth also is pretty constant when it comes to the Indian Bank numbers. So that particular counter is buzzing in trade. On the other hand, you also have Vardhaman Textiles also that has come out with the numbers, and look at the stock, it's trading high by 4% or so. If you look at the numbers on a year-on-year basis, it's a good uptick when it comes to the PAT number, while the sales number on a year-on-year basis is seen as a slight downtick, but margins have come substantially higher, 10.5% margins versus 7.5%, and that's actually leading to that uptick in Vardhaman Textiles. So these are the stocks that are buzzing in trade as of now. But let's bring on board Nirav Chheda to understand why is it that he actually is tracking ONGC at this point in time. Nirav?
Yeah, hi guys, thank you for having me on the show. Looking at ONGC, the stock has broken out an important resistance zone on a longer term chart. An inwards head and shoulder breakout is coming. The retest has also been done, and I believe now this is headed higher towards those 280 300 levels. But from a near term perspective as well, you can look to buy the stock at current levels. It has come down from 245 odd. It's near the support zone. Buy at the current levels. 227 will be your stop loss. Near term target would be around 250 to 55, and that is where you will book some profits from a 3-4 day perspective.
Okay, that's a word coming in on ONGC. Keep an eye out on those levels. Near term 250 255 is what one could keep an eye out on. Let's move on, talk about Hitachi Energy. This one is in focus after its numbers. It was a weak set of numbers, a miss that came in terms of the numbers of the company. As of now, look at the stock that's recovered from the day's lowest point but still trading with cuts of 2.6%. When you're looking at in terms of revenue, that was below estimate on a year-on-year, quarter-on-quarter basis, I beg your pardon, when you're comparing the revenue, that's seen an uptick of just 4%. While in terms of EBITDA, also the quarter-on-quarter basis increase that we're seeing is coming in at around 4% as well. The net profits of the company, that's a decline of 7% to 23 crores, and order inflows in Q3 are at 1,240 crores, which is down 29% as well. Q2 also included a large contract for high power SATCOM, which was also included there. So yes, keeping an eye on that, but nothing great in terms of a number that is coming from Hitachi Energy, and that is why the stock is down.
Alright, that's Hitachi Energy for you. But Nirav, let's put the spotlight on BPCL then. OMC counters had a good run in between, no doubt, yesterday with the market, with the fact that the crude oil prices spiked. You saw BPCL see the downtick. But what do you make of the recent move, and also what's the move charts indicating for BPCL going ahead?
First of all, if you see, almost every PSU has made a good move, and the only real laggards have been the OMCs. So call it BPCL, IOC or HPCL, they've not moved much. From the lower end also, you've just seen about a 20-30% uptick for these stocks. So it is time these stocks start to move. Important breakouts are in place. Volumes are back. So believe these stocks should do well. So for today, BPCL for that matter looks very good. This is trading above a breakout of 450 odd levels, and I believe this stock can now move up towards around 700, 750 in the medium term. But from a near term perspective, 530, 540 is what I'm looking at. So one can look to buy this stock for that target. From an 8 to 10 day perspective, you can keep a stop loss of around 450 for your longs.
Alright, moving on, let's put the spotlight on REC. REC numbers actually came yesterday during market hours, but given the rest of the market, this particular counter also saw a sharp downtick. But today, as you can see, 7% uptick coming in for REC. And the reason being that it reported a net profit about 3,269 crore rupees, which is a substantial uptick of about 13.6% on a year-on-year basis. If you look at the interest income on loan assets, that's on uptick about 22.3% on a year-on-year basis. Healthy set of numbers being reported by REC, and today we are seeing a delayed reaction on that particular counter with an uptick of about 7% or so.
Let's move on and talk about Aarti Industries on the charts then. And Nirav, in the last 5 days, we've seen a decent uptick already coming in the stock. What's the target that one should keep an eye out on now?
Yeah, so see, after a 2-year down cycle, this stock has started to move up. An important breakout, a downward sloping trend line breakout is in place, and that has been got around the 580 odd levels. From there, very good buying, good volumes have been seen. Good delivery based volumes have been seen. I believe the stock is headed higher. It can come to 750, 800 odd levels very soon. So look to buy the stock at current level. 620 will be your stop loss for longs.
Alright, that is Aarti Industries for you. Ashesha, let's talk about Indus Towers. This one reported its numbers yesterday.
Well, yes, very strong set of numbers. The stock is off slightly from the highest point of the day, but despite that, 6.5% higher in trade as we speak. Revenues are up marginally by about 1% on a quarter-on-quarter basis, but we have seen a big beat as far as the bottom line is concerned. Net profit rose nearly 19% on a sequential basis to about 1,541 odd crores. Company reported third consecutive quarter of record net tower addition. Company is likely to continue this trend going forward. A higher share of Bharti's accelerated rural rollouts will also benefit the company going forward. Apart from this, as far as dividend payout is concerned, analysts expect Indus Towers to reinstate dividends in FY24, although the payout is expected to remain modest. All in all, very strong set of numbers. Internals also look very strong. The stock is holding up 6.5% higher in trade.
Okay, that was stock number 12, but that was going to be the last stock for today. So thank you so much, Nirav, as well as Ashesha, for joining in with us and giving us all those important stocks that are buzzing in trade. But let's move on to an ET Now exclusive. Byju's founders are in advanced talks with some potential buyers for the sale of EdTech giant's online children books subsidiary Epic. Anurag Joshi is joining in with us with more details on that. Anurag?
Byju's promoters are in advanced discussions with potential suitors to sell Epic, the online children platform, books platform. Byju's has been in discussions with some of these suitors in the past, and the edtech giant is looking to close the deal in this quarter. Separately, Byju's has sounded out its shareholders for a 150 million to 300 million rights issue, and it's hoping that it's going to use the money from the rights issue to shore up its capital. Now, in the past, there have been interest in Epic from potential buyers that include Joffre Capital and Duolingo. This time around, Byju's is hoping that it's expecting that in the next few days, it is going to get binding offers for the deal. Significantly, Byju's has also put on hold the divestment of its other asset, Great Learning, which is the education, online education platform of the group.
All right, thank you so much for that, Anurag, for getting this exclusive details with regards to Byju's. But with that, we are totally out of time on this edition of Market Fatafat. Goodbye from Vinny, myself and the team that put the show together. Stay tuned. Tracking Trends with Nikunj Dalmia is up next.